Hey guys, what's going on? This is Deadly. Welcome back to Ask Deadly, the weekly show where I read your guys' questions and do my best to answer them. So let's get started. The first comment comes from Dallas. I get why people are comparing PUBG to DayZ, but people gotta realize that PUBG is strictly PvP based. It's a PvP shooter, and DayZ is a survival game. And I agree with you completely. I mean, they are very different games, and what people do, especially in the survival shooter genre, is try to compare games together just like any other genre does. So comparing Call of Duty to Battlefield and things like that, to give people sort of an understanding of how the game actually plays and feels compared to other video games out there. And PUBG does a really good job in being unique, I think. So I do agree, man. It's really hard to cross-compare games, but sometimes there are similarities amongst games in the same genre that can be touched on. The next question comes from Alec. How can I become more confident in PvP whenever I'm by myself? It seems whenever I'm put in a PvP situation without help, I feel like every move I make is incorrect and I feel confused on how I should make my next move. However, when I do have extra eyes, I can easily keep those eyes on a player and their movements to set up ambushes and move into better positions. I think all it comes down to it is playing more Lone Wolf and putting more time into the game. And eventually you'll just become confident enough to take out players and even full squads on your own. But just let you know, I mean, if you do go up against an enemy squad as a Lone Wolf and that squad is even reasonably good, there is a significant chance that you're going to die. But that's not a big deal because I think in DayZ Standalone, you're gonna have to learn to overcome death. And that's not with just DayZ Standalone, that also goes for PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds as well. You just can't get discouraged when you die because it's a significant part of the game. You just take the death, learn from your mistakes, and move on. Maybe you potato aim, maybe you just make a bunch of goofy mistakes. We're all human, man, and it takes thousands of hours to really master any video game, so just keep that in mind. Just keep practicing and do your best to have good situational awareness and try to make the best decision possible, and if you don't, then you'll at least learn from it. The next question comes from Ballas. Are bananas, oranges, and potatoes out of DayZ, or are they just extremely rare? Potatoes and oranges are currently out of the game, but I believe I've heard rumors that bananas spawn on Prison Island. I can't confirm it because I've never swam to Prison Island in a very long time. I don't think it's worth it to me. But next time that you're feeling like going on an adventure, maybe go over there and check it out inside the prison where all the food used to spawn in those closets. You might have a chance to find one there. But if not, they will be returning in the future, especially potatoes, because that's probably going to be the most popular horticulture item second to pumpkins. Because I believe potatoes almost have a very similar nutritional value to a can of beans. So reintroducing those into the game will motivate survivors to actually put out the effort to collect potatoes for their stashes. Kind of similar to what's already being done with pumpkins, but pumpkins are really weird because they give you a lot of stuffness and it causes you to puke. And I can only imagine that eventually puking will have some negative effects, like lowering your hydration rate. So in doing so, it's probably not going to be ideal to always rely on those pumpkins. This has to be one of the most asked questions that I've been getting recently, so I'm going to do my best to cover it here. This question comes from Louis Garcia. What do you think about instant PvP servers on DayZ? I'm not going to be specifically mentioning the server in which he's talking about. However, if you guys watched Cy Syndicate's video about DayZ recently, you'll notice that he's on a very different server of DayZ Standalone, and that is an instant PvP server that is technically against the rules, but that can be connected to through the DayZ Standalone server browser without downloading any third-party programs. So essentially, it's like a modded server, but without the permission of Bohemia. But here's the moral dilemma. Bohemia wants to ban people for playing on those types of servers because obviously they don't want that in the game currently. It wasn't their intention, and I don't know the entire story, but rumor has it is the game files were stolen and manipulated in order to create those servers. However, it seems that Bohemia can't stop people from connecting to the server through their own server browser. So the way I see it is in the eyes of a new player. Somebody comes back to DayZ or has never played DayZ at all, and they want to join and play with their friends, and their friends happen to play on this DayZ server. Well, most people connect directly via IP anyway. If you've ever played with a squad or your friends, you send them the IP in TeamSpeak so they can direct connect and they don't have to fiddle around with the server browser. And that's essentially the same thing that goes on here. So you have a server which Bohemia is not happy about being live, but they want to potentially ban people for playing there, that is being able to get connected through their actual server browser, and you don't have to download any third-party programs to stop it. So in my opinion, Bohemia needs to do a better job and ensure that people can't connect to that illegal server through their server browser before they would even begin to consider banning people for playing there. Now, when it comes to streaming and making YouTube videos, that's a little bit tricky because I believe they can still do DMCA strikes that can demonetize your channel or even get your Twitch partnership removed if you stream there. So don't be streaming there and making YouTube videos because Bohemia definitely doesn't want you to be doing that. However, you can't be banning the player base for connecting to a server that shows up in the officially supported browser. Until that gets removed, I don't really see much of a problem with it. However, I've seen footage from those servers. I'm not that interested in playing there, so I don't usually talk about it, but this has been a massive topic of discussion inside the DayZ community over the last couple months, and that's my opinion on it. The next question comes from Brenpat. I can't be the only one having really bad server issues with PUBG, right? No, you're not. A lot of people are experiencing issues, especially on the EU servers. So try to connect to North American or UK or just some of the other servers to see if that helps out. I'm sure that they're going to be fixing it very soon. Next question comes from Shifty Productions. Do you see yourself playing DayZ in 4 to 5 years? If not, what would you think you'd be doing? Well, I don't know, because about 6 or 7 years ago, I was making nothing but World of Warcraft videos, and I don't think I would believe you if you told me that I would stop playing World of Warcraft completely and move into a brand new genre on this channel and basically leave Warcraft in the dust. Let me be honest, there is like nobody left on my channel that still watches World of Warcraft. At least that's what I felt whenever I tried to do Legion content. So I think things change, things evolve. Sometimes I get forced to change games, or I find a new game that I simply fall in love with so much that I gotta make videos for it. And I think that's probably what's gonna happen. I highly doubt that I'll be playing DayZ standalone in 5 years, but who knows? I might be. Maybe the community will get supported a lot more once modding is enabled, and things will move from there. But it's really hard to predict the future in the survival shooter genre, so we'll just have to wait and see. But hopefully, I'll still be streaming and making content in 5 years. I plan on being a career broadcaster and YouTuber, so it's something that I'm extremely passionate about, and I'm committed to this channel. So hopefully we'll figure out something in the future if DayZ does decide to tank, like Escape from Tarkov and PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, and I'm sure there's going to be lots of other games that we don't even know about yet that are going to be out that are going to be really exciting to play. Next question comes from Shinji, get in the damn robot. Are you going to be uploading loot guides for PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds? Really? I mean, I think it's really easy to loot in PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds because loot is literally in pretty much every single house. Sure that there's certain spots on the map that are a little bit better than others, but for the most part, that most likely won't remain true. So looting is just really easy. Just loot every single house you see, or just try to develop strategies that work for you. And I think it's just going to be a little redundant if I just drop down and show you guys how to loot, because it's a very easy and basic part of the game. Next question comes from Joey Shithead. Does the amount of negativity in the DayZ community bother you? Sometimes it does. Like whenever I want to post a video onto subreddit and I get a lot of hate for being a bandit, that can bother me because to me, anybody that really downvotes banditry or wants banditry completely removed from the game is a moron that doesn't even understand DayZ. So, and there's a lot of those morons on the subreddit. Not everybody, but a significant amount of people. So I think that that's part of the problem. There's a minority of players that don't even believe in some of the aspects of this game and want it completely removed and will shit all over you for it. And then there's also the whole situation with the development time, and it seems like a lot of content creators have been taking sides on this matter, and that can be problematic. But I think overall, the DayZ community is rather optimistic and a pretty good community to be a part of, because just take a look at some of the other communities out there and how toxic they can be at times and how abusive they can be to their own content creators or their own community members. For instance, Call of Duty is one of the most toxic communities out there, and I really feel bad for any content creator that gets ostracized by that community, because you really get attacked and harassed pretty heavily. So I think DayZ will get through it one way or the other. The game will eventually slow down enough that it will die out, or we'll just all come back for 0.63 and enjoy some mods and things like that, and life will continue. But I think in general, especially the DayZ Twitch community, we get along great, and there's not a whole lot of issues there. I don't know much about the DayZ YouTube community though, because I don't really watch a whole lot of other YouTubers in this category because I don't simply have time to do so. Well guys, that's all for this week. If you guys want to leave your questions for next week, do so in the comment section below. And also, I'm going to be doing a 12-hour broadcast on April 3rd, so you guys can check that stuff out. It starts at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm going to be doing about 6 hours of DayZ and 6 hours of PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, so definitely check that out. We're going to be going for some of those sweet, sweet chicken dinners, so it should be exciting. Have a fantastic week, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow for some more daily content here on the channel.